systems are offline.
eRadio Live, powered by TCS Wi-Fi.
And I really can't believe it, but yes, it is Thursday again, and it is time for Tech Thursday with myself, Eon, and joined by...
Cue drum roll.
Hello, Kaine. How's it going?
Very well, thanks to yourself, Eon.
I'm
Thanks
good,
again
man.
for having me.
Yes, it is great to have you as always. And what we do, if you just tuned in or you're wondering what we're talking about, we in the slot we talk about the week's biggest tech stories and whatever tickled our fancies during the week, and then we put it into 1 hour, and we also play some music in between. If you're listening to the podcast, you won't hear the music, obviously, due to copyright, so it will be a bit shorter. But if you're listening to the live broadcast right now on eRadio Live, then you will hear some awesome tunes in between. Kaine, what have you got for us today? You're going to start.
Ooh, I've got some juicy snacks today. Eh? We are starting off with we're going back to the past, but really into the future, because Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high, $50,000. It's about 750,000 Rand. It's so much money. It's
my word.
I remember it's amazing, actually. I remember, it was about, it must have been about 6 months ago, a year ago. Someone was asking me, should we invest? And I remember looking at the price, and it was like, around 60,000 Rand. And I was like, sure. It's quite cheap at the moment. And now if you look at it,
It's insane.
It's pricey now, eh?
It is.
Yeah.
Wow. I must be honest, I didn't see it going that high.
Well, what's really fueling the growth at the moment is Bitcoin's got a boost from news firms like Tesla and MasterCard, because they've been showing somewhat support for crypto. Yeah, no, Tesla, obviously we spoke about it last week. They bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, and MasterCard announced that it was going to open up its network to some digital currencies. PayPal and BNY Mellon have also made big moves to support crypto. So it's really like, it's hitting mainstream. We always used to refer to it years ago. We said, one day it's going to hit mainstream, and that's when you're browsing mainstream news sites and going through the mall, and you see Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and digital currencies and all of it everywhere. It seems like it's very mainstream at the moment, but it always is kind of in the spotlight when we see these all-time highs. So it's another thing to keep in mind, because the next question really is, should you buy in? Eon, would you consider buying in at the moment?
Yes.
Because it's quite interesting, because back in 2019, I think it was 2018, Bitcoin went to an all-time high of $20,000, and obviously people were like, yes, let's jump in right now. And they saw a bear market for 1 year, and they would only be seeing profits now. Quite funny. So, right now, is it the right time to buy in? Do you take all your money and put it into Bitcoin? I certainly hope not. I would recommend that people just, have a little bit put away and buy a bit of Bitcoin. Not like something crazy. You don't need 500,000 rands worth of Bitcoin. You don't need 5,000 rands worth of Bitcoin. If you're buying every month for a year, every month you may be spending 100 rand, 200 rand, and Bitcoin's price 10x's in that year, or the next year, or 100x's, you won't be complaining, I promise you.
You definitely won't be complaining. You'll be laughing, man.
Be very happy.
All the way to the bank.
You'll be laughing, and you'll be telling everyone to buy.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's so awesome. Now, from Bitcoin back to South African things, did you see DStv and what they're doing now? Since we spoke last week, they've hiked their prices yet again. Funny thing is, it will be, I think, from the 1st of April, but it's not a joke.
It reminds me, have you ever seen when a gambler's at the casino and they've managed to triple their money, and then it halves, and they just spend all of the rest because it's not worth the same amount? I feel like DStv is just at that point where they're like, screw it, let's just make money somehow or die trying.
Yeah, you're right. And Kaine, I'm just looking at the prices now. Currently you're paying for a DStv premium package. That's all the channels. You're paying 819 Rand per month. That's without your add-ons, because add-ons will be the 100 Rand access fee and then 35 Rand for box office. But and then renting the movies. But if you look at the increase now, it will be 829 Rand as from the 1st of April. So that's just a 10 Rand increase. So it looks like most of the packages are going up by only 10 Rand, but people are still not happy because they won't even pay 10 Rand extra because they're so tired of these repeats, including the movie that they like to show time and again. And I'm pretty sure you know what movie that is. It is to do with snakes.
Oh, what is it? Oh no, what is it?
Anaconda.
Oh no.
Oh no, man. They just won't stop. Well, that's actually ETV, but DStv, they also love repeating these types of movies, So it is going up by 10 Rand for DStv Premium. And then the compact, you're currently paying 529. You're going to pay 539 from the 1st of April. And then normal compact, 399 at the moment, and that's going to be 409. The cheapest package, DStv Access, is currently 110 Rand per month. You will now be paying just 5 Rand more, 115 Rand per month. The access fee is going up by 5 Rand, and the 5 Rand extra also per movie on box office. So it's not major, but people still don't want to pay it. You know what I'm saying?
It's not a major increase, but we got to look at reality, because consumers are the most deadly people, because they just will decide on whatever's best and whatever's cheapest and whatever's the most value for money. So if you're talking about buying 3 Netflix subscriptions or 4 Netflix subscriptions or 5 or 6 Netflix subscriptions just to have DStv, you're talking about something where you can control what you watch at any time, and there's plenty of time to watch everything, versus DStv, where they kind of choose what to watch, and you got to kind of adjust your day around what is playing at a certain time.
Yeah.
It's not a fair ask. It should be reversed. One should be far cheaper than the other.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I mean, now they're giving you the options to set your PVR or your Explorer or whatever to record it when you're gone, and you can catch up later. Or they've got this thing called catch up, but it's still not the same as Netflix.
No, it's absolutely not the same. You can't. Even if DStv, online were to provide Netflix and those type of services embedded in it, it still doesn't necessarily give it market share back. I mean, people are going to use Netflix to watch the stuff that they want. They need to be able to get licensing for the content that they want to provide to their audience. And now the licensing is such a tight game, because Showmax wants licensing, Netflix wants licensing, Amazon wants licensing, and now DStv is like, excuse me, we would really like some licensing, and it doesn't go around like that,
Yeah.
Kind of exclusive launches are very popular, so it's very interesting to say what DStv is going to do. They can't just provide the same service as Netflix and Showmax because of the licensing issues. They need to provide something a little bit more, and I don't know what that is.
You're right, and they've got some more competition as well from the second half of this year. There's another one joining South Africa. It's already in Britain, of course. I'm talking about Britbox, the British streaming service operated by BBC Studios and ITV. They're planning to launch here in South Africa in the second half of this year. I'm overjoyed because, as you know, I'm a big Britcom fan.
Really? I did not know that.
Yes!
Wow. So you're going to get this?
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. It goes without saying. I'm not too sure how much it will be per month, but I definitely will be. Apparently, wait. In the United Kingdom, the service costs £5.99 per month, which is equivalent to 120 Rand per month at the time of writing. If you're really going to convert it that way, I'm sure it won't be like that. Kind of gives you an idea of how much you'll pay. If it's 120 Rand per month or thereabouts, absolutely. Yes, count me in.
When I was young, I was like, please, can there be alternatives to disrupt these monopolies? And you look at Telkom, and you look at DStv, and you look at Blockbuster, Ster-Kinekor, and you're like, wow, they're really being disrupted. I mean, it's no joke. they're definitely having a hard time thinking about how to maintain these businesses.
Yeah, we're just talking about DStv and they fight for survival, and boom, Britbox pops up on the South African scene. But yes, no, listen, Kaine, you should know that I love my Britcoms. Talking about Father Ted, okay, that's kind of more Irish. All those shows, Faulty Towers, Keeping Up Appearances. Does it ring a bell? My Family, Miranda.
Oh yes, Faulty Towers, Gold. That's such a good one. Yes. I remember that.
Yes.
I remember a few others. There are definitely some gold ones. I mean, am I right to think Mr. Bean is one? Am I wrong?
You're absolutely right. Rowan Atkinson is British. Yes, it is. It's also, I'm sure it will be on there as well. No, totally.
There's some good humor for anyone. I would definitely want to take a look at it. I don't know if I'd get it myself, but if my friend had it and I liked it, yeah, you can do it. You know what's funny? You would think DStv had a slightly better marketing plan because, I don't know if you know how Takealot.com got famous, but as far as I know, they got famous by reducing their prices to such a point that they sold at a loss for a certain period, and then but they had enough market share to sustainably earn it back. And then you have DStV's like, okay, there's Britbox, no, that's nice, Netflix, all right, Showmax, Amazon Prime, that's great, price hike, that's what we're gonna do. We're going to tell everyone and let that go to face in the market.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, I can just hear the board meetings, price hike. Oh my word.
Some poor guy in the back put up his hand. He's like, I don't think that's a good idea. No, don't listen to him. He was fired that day. They continued on.
Yes. No, I'm pretty sure something really similar played off in their boardrooms. I think you're not too far off there, Kaine. Right, when we come back on Tech Thursday, what are you going to talk about next?
Next, we've got, can you believe it, Fly Sapphire has launched an app. And notoriously, other airliners had an app, but Fly Sapphire didn't, and now they do. And that's going to help us book in without physical human contact. So that's going to be interesting to talk about.
Excellent. We will pick it up just after these.
Like us on Facebook at Entertainment Radio SA.
And welcome back to Tech Thursday right here on eRadio Live. It is Eon with you till 4 o'clock along with Kaine, and we are discussing this week's biggest technology news. Just before our break, Kaine mentioned Fly Sapphire getting their very own app. Now that's interesting, especially in these times. I think it is an absolute necessity, Kaine.
Absolutely. I think right now, every business is transitioning into digital, and there's an app for almost everything. If there's ever a time to start, pushing out an app, Fly Sapphire kind of was a little bit late off the bat, but I think they might have just slipped in with the good timing there, because I was reading about it, and Kirby Gordon, the chief marketing officer at Fly Sapphire, said the aim of the app has been to make our customers' experience with us simpler by centralizing all booking details into one place. What's great about this is that customers can manage a great deal of their journey on their own devices. Boarding passes are kept on the device, which supports our no-touch approach at the airport, and live updates through the app keep customers abreast of any possible schedule changes. So using your app, you'll be able to see schedule changes. You'll be able to use, no-touch booking in and things like that.
Yo, that's nice. I like it. So it is available right now in the download, the what do you call it, the app stores.
Yes, and on that note, it is not available on Huawei's app gallery. I'm not sure if you've been keeping up to date on the whole Huawei Android scenario.
Yeah.
Do you have a Huawei?
Do I have a Huawei?
Do you have a Huawei?
No way. No way.
No way.
No, I don't. But I know that their users aren't happy because some apps are not available to them right now. What's the story there?
Right. So I recently picked up one of the new Huawei's, and I wanted to kind of have a look at what this whole scenario was. And at first, it's very disgruntling. You're very confused because you would launch an app like Airbnb, and it'd be like, no, can't run without Google Play services. And you're like, and it recommends, no, just find an alternative. And you're like, an alternative to Airbnb. Not
Oops,
really,
that
not
sounds
a
dodgy.
calculator app, you know?
Yeah.
So what the case is it's actually very clever. Their solution took me back a bit because it is in itself very, very clever. What they've done is they've created the Huawei app gallery, and it's basically the app store or the iOS store, you know, to Android and iPhone respectively. And what this app gallery basically does is it presents a whole bunch of apps that obviously have been developed for the Huawei operating system, which is on the P40 and Mate 30, I think. And you can basically with these with the Huawei, you can use the app gallery to download an app that also isn't available natively on their operating system. And to do this, you basically use an in-app browser, but it's integrated into the phone. So you end up, it's a bit of a workaround, but it's totally possible in 5 minutes. And once you got it, it's going to be remembered forever. You just go into your app gallery, you create a quick app, and you just put it on your home screen. And from there, even the apps that aren't developed for that operating system can still run seamlessly. And what they're doing is they're just visiting the mobile site, and it is a seamless experience. I'm telling you, you don't even notice the difference. So not a total failure, and a very good save by Huawei.
I would totally throw my Huawei into the ocean if it told me that it cannot run an app because I don't have Google Play or whatever. It will just be so annoying.
Yeah, no, don't get one of those, unless you insured it.
Yeah, geez, man. But listen, I just got handed a note by our producer. He's saying, hey, you forgot to mention today's sponsor. My gosh, I'm so sorry. Let's just quickly give a word to our sponsor. Last week we had the USB Pet Rock. I sent you your USB Pet Rock. Did you get it?
I've got it. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Okay, what are you doing with it?
I'm just going through the manual, and on it says the care and training of your USB Pet Rock, and it's so interesting. It's such, who knew rocks needed that much?
Yes, you've got me in stitches. Yeah, it comes with, I can't believe it, this rock actually comes with a user manual, how to care for your USB Pet Rock. I've downloaded like 1,000 albums onto it now, so it just rock music, of course.
Rock music only.
Yes, rock music on my USB Pet Rock. Thank you so much to our USB Pet Rock supporters. But now, a word from our sponsor for today, and this episode of Tech Thursday is brought to you by the Meowlingual Cat Translation Device. It is a Japanese invention that claims to translate your cat's purrs and meows it into an audio translation. Now available at only $75.
That's fantastic. No, we've seen their knives. It's just, we can't even doubt them for a second. On the Pet Rock scenarios as well, like someone once asked me, they're like, can't you just plug a USB into a rock? No, you can't. It's not the same thing at all. Don't even try it. You'll never achieve the same result.
Yes, exactly. What have you got for us? What up next on your agenda? What have you got for us?
So we've discussed a little bit at length, about TikTok's popularity in South Africa, but what we haven't spoken about is their competitors. And obviously, TikTok being a Chinese app that did have to give a portion of its shares to the USA in order to still operate in the USA. It doesn't necessarily mean it's an American app, though. So America and YouTube obviously wants to compete with TikTok, and Instagram also had the Reels released, which was a slight competitor to TikTok. But now YouTube's come out with something, YouTube Short Beta, which they've already released for a period in India, and they've seen some good results. But now it launches in the United States in March, and these things might come to South Africa soon.
Wow, that's nice. So YouTube Shorts, instead of almost like a TikTok thing, we have a short video, and it is quite funny.
Absolutely. So the YouTube team has seen success with Shorts in India, where the feature has existed for several months. And that's according to Mohan, and he's one of the guys there. And he says since December, the number of Indian channels using Shorts creation tools has more than tripled, and the YouTube Shorts player is now receiving more than 3.5 billion daily views globally. So it's quite a number. But that's aggregated obviously from India. So there is a lot of popularity to it. But I think the most distinguishing difference between YouTube and YouTube Shorts and YouTube and even TikTok is YouTube is more focused around content that is created outside of the platform, brought into the platform, and provided to the public. What YouTube Shorts serves and what TikTok serves is mobile production of content. They support the curation and creation of the content, and they also support the distribution and community management of the content. So YouTube Shorts is also a mobile creation software where you can use your mobile to create videos and short videos and have filters and all sorts of different things that YouTube will create or soon will create, whatever, and you'll be able to utilize your phone to create media content and people will consume it. I think that's very interesting, and it's an untapped market, really. It's not super popular right now, but it will be.
Okay. Well, now that you mentioned YouTube, I'm going to share something that's going to blow your mind. Did you know, 15 years ago, YouTube was launched as a video dating website, just close to Valentine's Day.
You just need one of those mind-blown gifts. You know what I mean? Like, can you believe it?
Yes. Yeah, well, thankfully, that didn't work out. And as we know, it soon became the world's leading online video sharing platform. It really is hard to imagine YouTube as anything else than the gigantic online video sharing platform that it is today. But as revealed by co-founder Steve Chen, the platform was released in 2005 as a way for people to upload videos of themselves talking about the partner of their dreams. No, I can just tell you right off the bat, that isn't a good concept.
No, and I think everything starts with an idea, but they soon realized how significant the idea was, because even Amazon's Jeff Bezos said that in order to ascertain success in a particular venture, you have to be very set on the vision, but flexible to adjust the route in order to get there. Now, I don't know if they sat down and said, we want to be the biggest video curation and entertainment portal on the internet. But I definitely think they had high hopes for the digitalization of dating and going further than just an app. And I think once they understood, oh my word, look, people would enjoy just creating any type of content video on a video basis. My question is, did it happen while people were using it as a dating app, or did they not find any success and then pivot? That's such an interesting question.
Yeah, very good question, Kaine. I'm wondering how long it went on before they realized, oh Lord, this is not going to work. We have to abort.
I wonder if they had to sit in the boardroom and they were like, oh my word, everybody is creating irrelevant content. I mean, we've got pictures of people at the zoo. We've got people, flipping coins. People are trying to build things. I mean, we don't know what to do with this video content. Someone was just saying, open it all. Just open it all. Doesn't matter. Just let them upload it.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Kaine, just after the break, very interesting story about, as we know that the cinemas aren't doing too well at the moment. Well, they're probably picking up again. But movie cinemas in South Korea are now renting their screens to gamers. I'll be sharing that story with you right after this.
Get the eRadio SA app right now for free on the Google Play Store. Entertainment radio on the go.
Welcome back to Tech Thursday right here on eRadio. It's Eon and Kaine with you, and it is time, the time of the week where we discuss the week's biggest stories when it comes to technology. Now, just before the break, I mentioned to you, Kaine, movie cinemas are renting their screens to gamers. I think that's so cool. I wonder why Stakinico didn't think of this. How do you feel?
I'm ecstatic. I think one of my favorite childhood experiences was going to a internet cafe, quote unquote gaming internet cafe, that you could play a few games with your mates. And I didn't necessarily have all that equipment at home, so it was quite an experience to be able to play on some higher end equipment. And it's grown a lot since I was young. Now in Cape Town, you have massive big open network gaming events where people come together in their game. And obviously with COVID, that's slightly different, but to be able to go and experience, from a gamer's perspective, to be able to go into a cinema and experience your favorite game in a jaw-dropping entertainment environment, that's worth an hour and a half, man.
But Kaine, I think that's a brilliant idea. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, we're so used to, at home, the gamers already have quite big computer screens, or they even play it on their TVs and surround sound, or they just have headphones on. But can you imagine your favorite game that you're really good at on a massive cinema screen with that 5D or whatever they call it, surround sound? I mean, wow, what an experience.
What an absolute experience. And imagine the viability of that kind of environment with something like VR. I mean, it could be insane.
Oh yes, yes.
You could have people, because it's all, at the end of the day, it's a whole bunch of chairs facing a screen. So there could be a lot of stuff that goes on in a cinema where you could entertain both the people playing the game and the people watching the people play the game. That's esports in a nutshell, and I see a small step towards that here. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the evolved scenario.
Yeah, but I'm reading here that although cinemas are currently restricted to 50% capacity, CVG, that's South Korea's largest theater chain, that's like our Stakinico, has started renting out its theaters for gaming to create a new revenue stream. That's a brilliant idea. Up to 4 people can reserve a screen, and you can do so at $90 for 2 hours, and then the fee increases to $135 after 6 p.m. Gamers who want to rent screens also need to bring their own games, of course, their own consoles, and also controllers to play. But according to the BBC, gamers are satisfied with this arrangement, giving them an opportunity to maximize their gaming experience. And this is funny. The guy who wrote the article wrote, the sound quality is particularly amazing. The sound of the gunshots in the game is so vivid, and when something flew directly at me from the screen, I even screamed. So it's a real experience.
Oh wow, yeah, no, that's full on like IMAX scenario.
Yeah, definitely. And since the new service launched at the start of the year, auditoriums have been booked more than 130 times so far. And the majority of customers are said to be men in their 30s or 40s. Couples and families have also taken part. Are you a gamer yourself, Kaine?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I game less than I used to, and I wouldn't necessarily have the skill set. Because, I mean, some people who might be listening to this could be very, very good, and they would be very unhappy with me saying I'm even a little bit good. So, in a nutshell, I'm not very good, but I do play, and it is a hugely entertaining thing to do. I mean, it's the opportunity to jump into something and experience something which shouldn't be available anywhere else other than your imagination before games came around.
Sure. Yeah, no, that sounds so good. I mean, I would even go and watch just to see them play. It's a movie of its own.
Absolutely. And can you imagine the future where virtual reality and augmented reality blend into one, so you can go to a conference from the the comfort of your couch and interact with people and do everything and feel everything, and it's just such an intense scenario that's so relatively possible. It's actually quite astonishing.
Yes, but is it also kind of scary? Because it kind of freaks me out now that you mentioned it.
Have you ever watched Ready Player One?
Is it a movie?
It is a movie.
It sounds familiar, but I can't say I have. What's it about?
If you want to watch a very good example that is, under any normal circumstances, slightly exaggerated about what your reality might be if you were to directly be involved in a very virtual world. So everyone at home would have a headset that sends them into the virtual world where they can do things. It's a very good depiction of what's going to be available, because it's not just going into a game and doing something and pretending it's real, because in all intents and purposes, the more advanced technology gets, it's necessarily more realistic. Each and every advancement we conquer. So there is to be assumed that there might be a point where you wouldn't be able to necessarily distinguish between the virtual reality and your reality, and you would be able to do things that you might never be able to do. For example, giving someone maybe who can't run the experience of running and things like that. So it could really go at a unique variation of places. And, in being able to allow doctors and stuff to perform very, very intense surgery through the use of equipment and their virtual reality while performing surgery, because they would climb into something that they would help them better see what they're doing and how they're using their equipment and stuff. So it could definitely be a positive thing.
What you're talking about now, it kind of reminds me of Black Mirror. I'm sure you've seen Black Mirror.
I have, actually. It's quite an interesting show, all their different versions.
Yes. Now, have you seen the episode where people are able to replay their day and show it to other people and project it onto screens?
Yeah, that could be a near future, especially with old Elon Musk's Neuralink, because that's what he's envisioning it.
Yeah, because they had this thing implanted in their head, and then that thing records your whole day, and then it just showed you in that show. It shows you the problems. It can help because we're forgetful, so you can rewind and see, did I say that to that person or whatever. But it becomes a problem because people become obsessed and they don't trust each other, and then they keep on, I don't know if you saw, but in that specific episode they kept on not trusting their partners, and they want you to replay your day or whatever the whole time so that the other one can see, were you lying or is it real? And it sort of becomes this obsession, and there's just no more trust.
Yeah, I imagine your whole day could be replayed to anyone at any time.
No.
I mean, it's quite a scary thing, right?
That's very scary. What's more scary is if you're on the plane, of course. French Civil Aviation Authority this week warned that the latest generation of 5G smartphones can interfere with aircraft altitude instruments. We've always been told to switch off our phones during flights, but they say that the 5G phones really are a worry because of their signal interference from a close frequency source of a strength that's similar or even superior to that of their instruments. So it can cause errors in the crucial landing instruments, said the agency. That's what they're saying at the moment. And they say that if you have one of the latest 5G phones, please put it on airplane mode during a flight. Well, that's probably why it's called airplane mode, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's also important to distinguish that it's the issue, if I'm correct, is that people have their phone on with 5G interfering while they're on the plane. People on the ground don't necessarily interfere with their phones.
Yes, no, on the plane, like literally on the plane.
Okay. But that's actually very interesting because, we've always been told, keep your phone off when you're fueling up with petrol. That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Keep your phone off when you're in the airplane. And as our technology advances, it's result effect on these kind of places is increased. So we do have to be cautious and figure out what our limits are in terms of mixing our technologies.
Absolutely, you're right. Just lastly, our last story for today, Kaine. I found this quite interesting, also on my broadband. A large number of Twitter users in South Africa have complained that their accounts have been suspended. The volume of people complaining about suspensions was so high on Saturday the 13th that the word suspended was actually trending on Twitter in South Africa.
Oh my word. It makes you question what they're rolling out. There was actually a recent announcement that government bought some social monitoring software for like 40 million rand or something like that. So you never know what really is going on and what censorship is being rolled out. But, I think to myself, if Twitter can ban Donald Trump, who was the active president, right? They can ban the president. You shouldn't be surprised if you say something on Twitter that people don't like and you get suspended, because that's the power you're dealing with. I mean, your say is definitely not as powerful as someone like Donald Trump's, and he's still banned.
Well, this wave of Twitter bans was therefore likely as a result, apparently, of terms of service violations relating to how these influencer accounts conducted themselves. So it didn't just happen for no reason, but Twitter obviously didn't comment on the request by my broadband to comment on the matter. I'm sure these accounts have been reinstated. It looks like it was just over 500 people that were affected.
Interesting. I wonder, it might have been because, these platforms do obviously have some sort of automation system in place that identifies and analyzes and then bans someone based on an automated determination. So it could be that they rolled out some unique way of spotting potential spam or potential harmful content or something like that, and these users, whatever they were doing, had something in common with that was they were either inaccurately flagged or correctly flagged and removed and banned and suspended.
Yeah, but it looks like it is all fixed now. But you know how people get when they see that something's been suspended. So they're so reliant on it. It's actually scary.
Yeah, we've become very reliant on it, and someone was speaking about it the other day. You question how safe your personal information is with someone whose goal is not to protect your personal information, but to make money off of you as a person. It's like, you got to question it. But they do provide a service, and that service does make businesses money, and that service does provide, positive relief to a lot of people out there who use it for, showing off their lifestyle, or maybe their own personal hobby or whatever. There are uses to it. It's just the people who run it and pull the strings need to have the right mindset, or you need to give the people who use the platform the ability to make changes based on consensus. Allow everyone to have an even say in a change or an update or a privacy infringement, and then based off of that vote reach a valid consensus. Hopefully we can get to that stage one day.
Yeah.
That's the future.
Yes, it is the future. Kaine, I just want to tell you in closing, and also remind our listeners, we have a new podcast series that started on Monday. It is our social media talk at 2 o'clock. It is with Carla de Beer. She's from the digital law company that's spearheaded by the very well-known South African social social expert Emma Sadler. And she is talking about all these interesting topics. We started on Monday with this brand new series on eRadio, and this past Monday she was actually talking about privacy. How does privacy even exist when you're on social media? She gave us some lovely tips. You definitely need to check it out. I'll also post a link below this podcast if you want to listen to it again, or listen to it if you haven't already. and she was talking about privacy, and we were actually specifically focusing, it was one of her concerns, we were focusing on the school kids going back to school and all the parents just posting those pictures of the little ones without their permission, of course, on social media, and showing the school symbol on their jerseys, showing exactly where they are, and the settings are open to anyone, the public settings, and we were discussing that concern amongst other things.
That's very interesting. You know, my brother recently had a daughter, and they haven't even had one picture go on social media, and she's just under 2 years now. And there's not a single photo of her on social media. And when I first heard about it, I thought, that's a bit strange. But looking at it now, I mean, it's actually fair. When I was younger, there was no really thing where you could just unpermissioned be put online. That just didn't exist. You know, we were the ones being cautioned by our parents, like, hey, I don't know what you're doing there, you know, but like, watch out. It's an interesting world at the moment.
Yeah, don't get into the ice cream truck, Kaine.
Stay far away from that at the expense of good ice cream, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yes, but you know, it was so scary when she mentioned how easy it is, like from the view of a predator. She was saying how easy it is to track down your child, to know the kid's name from your profile, to see what the kid looks like, to actually see where exactly he or she was standing, the exact school, the exact street. I am not even a parent, and I was freaked out.
Yeah, no, it's something to be wary of in this day and age. You know, don't let technology sneak up on you. It's easy to be informed, do your research, protect your children. I saw an article even today. It was like, how many of you as parents have your child's location at all times? And I said, that's a bit invasive. But at the same time, it could be the difference between, you know, a very bad situation and a not so bad situation. So the question really is if it's a child's choice whether to be put on social media or not, whose choice is it whether they have a permanent location on them at all times? You know, does the child have the right to determine whether or not they can be tracked, or does the parent, as the legal guardian or the guardian of the child, determine their best interest is to have the child's location on them at all times to prevent any issues? You know, it's a very interesting question, very valid in the next 5 years, I believe.
Very, very. But Kaine, when you are in the bath tonight, do switch on the podcast, the social media podcast, and give it a listen. It's about 15 minutes long or so, and we'll be doing it every Monday at 2 o'clock right here on eRadio. The podcast on our site, eRadioSA.com. Just scroll down to the podcast section, or you'll see it in the main banner as well. But you must definitely give it a listen, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we spend so many 15 minutes in our day not doing something constructive. I think I'll spend 15 minutes today and do something constructive.
Yes, you know, when you are doing something, you know, and I always like working with, sometimes mostly with music in my ears, but sometimes a nice podcast, just to take in some new information as well.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Now, that's it for Tech Thursday for today, and it was brought to you by the Meowlingual Cat Translation Device, a Japanese invention that claims to translate your cat's purrs and meows into an audio translation. Now, we actually got word from our sponsor of the Meowlingual device that one of our hosts on the show, the guest, he must meow twice in order for us to get this deal. So please, Kaine.
Oh, you're going to meow twice for us?
No, you. Just twice, please.
Meow, meow. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Cool. I hope they're happy. I'll ask Mr. Miyagi.
I think I could have done it better, but I think I'll have to perfect it next week. You know, I really got to get in the mindset of a cat.
No, man, next week we're going to have a new sponsor. That was just for this week.
Oh, okay, so my one-time shot's gone. Well, I hope I win.
Yes. Kaine, it was a pleasure as always. Let's do it again next Thursday afternoon between 3 and 4 here on eRadio. Thank you as always for your time and for sharing that fountain of knowledge that you've got.
Thanks so much for having me. I hope you have a fantastic day onwards.
And you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Your systems are offline.
eRadio Live, powered by TCS Wi-Fi.